All right, we're here at my VermiHut indoor worm bin, but first let's take a look at our latest experiment. Pretty cool, huh? Now that was two experiments in one. The first thing we did was we put melons down. We had cantaloupe, watermelon, and pumpkin, and you can see the watermelon went like almost immediately, followed by what looked like a good attack on the cantaloupe, but then almost overnight, the pumpkin was almost completely gone. And for our second experiment, we put down some worm chow, some eggshell grit, and the coffee, and the most surprising thing out of any of the experiments was that eggshell grit. Within 12 hours, they had already started to attack it, and by like day 2 it was almost completely gone, just the big pieces that weren't quite small enough for them. So let's go ahead and open this up and check inside. And I couldn't wait, I had to feed them just a little bit more before this. So all those time lapses were about 8 days, but it has been 18 days since I fed them. So yesterday, as I was stringing the time lapses together, I realized these worms probably need some food. So let's go ahead and just kind of turn this watermelon over. It's been about 12 hours and see how they're doing with it. And sure enough, you've already got some that have found it. And over here, same thing. And then even the one on the side, they're already starting to attack. And this is just 12 hours since I put this in here. These worms surely were scattered all over. So yeah, right here, the only thing I'm seeing is a little bit of the big coffee grounds that we had there. Nothing where the eggshell grit was. And even the worm chow completely gone. But let's see how they did with that cantaloupe skin. It kind of looked like it was taking forever. And the only thing that is left is kind of the really, I don't know, hashtaggy portion of the skin. And nothing much over there or over here. Now the watermelon, I don't even expect the skin to be there. They really took after that super quick. And the pumpkin, when that was going on, I didn't know if they had buried it or if they had ate it super quick. But I was really surprised that they didn't really attack it as quickly as they did the other melon. But then it was just like, what I was doing was taking time lapses every half a day, because things were happening so fast. But that one day where you saw the pumpkin go from something there to nothing there, that was actually 24 hours. And check this out. I'm not sure what this is. Really fibery right here. But let's go ahead and dig down even further, because I know in the center we had put some of our long-term food like the mango seed and some of the other stuff that just seems to last forever. And it seems to me like the worms are down in there quite a bit. So we're getting a lot of them. And yep, mango seeds still going. Check that out. Yep, still have some hiding out in there. They love that. And what else do we have in here? Got these shells of avocado. Some people say they take theirs out, grind them up, or throw them in their compost. But the worms are still slowly attacking them. I don't know how long a avocado shell takes, but it certainly takes a very long time. What else in there? Not too much else. So this tray has been up here for 59 days. Usually right around the 60-day mark is when I take it off and put it under to be a pre-harvest tray. Wait another 60 days before it's harvested. And you can say lots of great castings in here. Just a little bit more stuff for them to break down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give them a really good fast feeding. And then in 7 to 8 days, we're going to come in here and rotate everything and show you how I do it with this system. So let's go ahead and aerate a little bit, and then we'll set up a feeding zone. Alright, so we set up our feeding zone, and I'm going to leave the sticker on. Usually I like to take them off before I put in here, but especially with a watermelon, we'll see how the worms will eat all around it, and I'll just be able to pluck that sticker right out of the bin. So let's throw our old stuff in here, and then we'll add some more shredded cardboard for them. Now typically when my bins are getting close to harvest, I won't add more shredded cardboard, but remember, even though we're about to be done feeding this, it's going to go underneath for another 60 days, and we'll have plenty of time to get to all this, especially with the quantity of worms that I have in here, somewhere around 5,000 between the 4 trays in here. So here's what we had in mind, all very fast food. This lettuce stock, believe it or not, within about 3 to 4 days will be completely gone. I've noticed that they go through the broccoli, especially the center, super quick and just the fibers are left. Got some more lettuce, another piece of watermelon, and you'll see that I do freeze all my food first, and that just helps to break it down physically for them. Plants have cell walls, and with the freezing of water, it expands, and it helps to burst those cell walls, kind of making everything mush. So there we go, great feeding. And then let's add in some worm chow. Now, I didn't see any worms right on top, so I don't mind putting this kind of frozen food, mostly thawed, not mostly thawed, but mostly frozen, a little bit thawed. But a worm like this can sense what's going on and will actually move away from the frozen food. Then we'll go in with some coffee. That was really interesting in the time lapse to see how long it took them to eat the coffee. And that was with the coffee piled up in one big pile. This is spread out. And then finally, what is clearly their favorite food, we've got some eggshell grit. And AV has a great time lapse. And in it, most of you have probably seen it, but he puts in eggshell grit and you can see the worms actually attacking the grit immediately. Like they go right up and find it. So I'd seen that a couple, 3 years ago and had totally forgotten about it, but I did realize back then that they do go after grit, but it was still a surprise to me with our experiment today. So if you're new to worm farming, this looks like a huge feeding, and it is, but I have 5,000 worms in here, so make sure you're feeding accordingly. If you only have 1,000 worms, maybe this amount of food, just this one little lettuce stalk, will do well for you. And maybe a month in, you don't want to feed that much right away. So check out some of my other videos where I just start out a worm bin and show you how much food is appropriate for somewhere between 500 and 1,000 worms. But these worms are going to devour this, and I bet you when we come back in here in about 7 days, almost all of this food is going to be gone. Probably the only thing left will be the watermelon skin and some of that older food that we had put in down below, kind of our slow food. So fast food doesn't mean fast food like we think of. It means food that the worms eat fast. And slow food is food that the worms take a little bit longer to eat. I think we're done here. I hope you enjoyed the time lapse. In fact, let's play it one more time. So cool. I love watching that. So hope you're all having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing well. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.